Live on the Odyssey app, live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Dealing with KC, brought to you by McQueen and the Violet Fog, the smoothest gin in the world, handcrafted in Brazil. Happy to bring in the coach for Iowa basketball, Coach Keegan Murray, Coach Fran McCaffery. Coach, I'm sure you're going to be doing a ton of these over the course of the next month or so, so we're really pleased that you took a few minutes to join us. What can you tell us about Keegan Murray that we don't see on film or in highlights?
Well, I think obviously when you watch him play, like you said, he's incredibly versatile, incredibly talented, and also very consistent. But I think, when you get to know him, he's really a unique young guy. Very business-like approach to the game, really focused, locked in, really understands the scouting report, has a great approach, has the ability to flush a play. If he misses a shot, he just comes right back, and he doesn't get too high or too low. He plays both ends, and is a phenomenal teammate. Just, and I say this, and I've said this to a number of different general managers, directors of player personnel, and it's coaches say this sometimes, but it's typically not true. But it's true in this case. He's absolutely zero maintenance. So, he's going to be in the gym. He's going to be in the weight room. He's going to be getting shots up. He's academic all Big Ten. He never like, hey, where's Keegan? What's he up to? You know where Keegan is locked in on being great, and I'm really proud of him, and I'm happy for him that he's on this journey and he's going to be living out his dream, in short order.
Coach McCaffery, I'm familiar with some of the stuff that Keegan did this past year, especially against my Michigan Wolverines. I'm a big Michigan fan, and he went into Ann Arbor and made easy work of Michigan, 23 points on 7 and 9 from the field. When you have Keegan, and he seems like such an efficient scorer, more than just somebody that just puts up a bunch of shots and accumulates his points that way. Is that kind of accurate? Do you see the same way where he can get you 20 on 10 shots if need be, because he is so efficient with the shots that he takes?
Yeah, I think that's a great observation because it's 100% accurate. You think about certain games like in the semifinals of the conference tournament. Indiana was really locked in on him and trying to take away space and trying to take away driving potential and getting back in transition because he's a coast-to-coast guy. So he makes 8 threes. He's that kind of guy. Like, no matter what you do, he's got an answer for it. And a lot of the times, our philosophy, we run on makes and misses. We push it. So we go transition to motion. We don't pull it out and run sets. So he's getting his points organically. We're not running a lot of stuff for him. Now, I'm not saying we didn't. We did. I mean, obviously, we were going to run it. If we were going to run a set, we'd run it for him. And we had another really good shooter, Jordan Bohannon, and we ran some stuff for him. But most of what we ran was for Keegan Murray when we did decide to run something. So if we did, he would make a really good decision. He might shoot it. He might move it. And that's the great thing about him. He understands how to play with 4 other people. And there's no selfishness at all. So he's not, hey, coach, why don't you run more stuff for me? If we're running transition to motion, I'm good. If we're running sets, I'm good. And the one thing that I try to pride myself in is I don't micromanage my guys. So I'm trusting him, and I'm encouraging him to trust his talent and just go make a decision. You're out there. I'm over here. You go do what you do well, and you think for yourself, because that way you'll be the best version of yourself. And he is really one guy that excelled in that role.
Coach McCaffery, Iowa basketball, with us here on D'Lo and KC. What was the biggest change you saw from Keegan from his freshman year to his sophomore year?
Well, his role changed completely. I mean, we had Luka Garza, was a National Player of the Year 2 years ago. Keegan was coming off the bench. He made the All-Rookie team. And he started a handful of games. Was a really good player as a freshman, but okay, it was his turn to be the guy. So not everybody can as you both know, not everybody can do that as successfully and seamlessly as he did. And it started right off the bat. He was dropping big numbers in really incredibly consistent fashion, and welcomed that opportunity to be the guy. It wasn't afraid of it, wasn't shy in that role, and accepted it. And I think what was great is his teammates recognized it as well. Okay, we're at practice every day. That dude is the man, and we're going to get him the ball, and we know that he'll throw it back if he gets double teamed. I mean, he's that kind of player. He's a winning player. But I think everybody appreciated that step that he took, because as much as he played a lot as a freshman. He was going to be a guy his sophomore year that was going to get 30+ minutes and pretty much shoot it when he wanted to, bring it when he wanted to. And that's exactly what I wanted for him. I wanted him to play with that kind of confidence, and he did every night.
Coach, we hear so often about guys in college and their game going to another level when they get to the NBA because of the styles of the games are so different. Is there something that you see with Keegan in his game that we may not have seen so much in the college game, that when he gets to the NBA is just going to expand out with all the space that he has to work with at that level?
Well, I think you just nailed it. In the pros, there's more space. He's pretty much unguardable one-on-one with his length and his creativity and his ability to make tough shots. Some guys are catch and shoot 3-point shooters. Some guys are driving dunkers. He hits the floater. He goes off either shoulder. He drives right or left. He can finish high on the glass over shot blockers. But, in college ball, people are going to be in the gaps. You see a lot of pack line defense. So many teams playing pack line defense. And you're not allowed to do that in the pros.
Right.
You can't play pack line defense. So he'll have more space. Now, granted, he's going to be going against better players. But I think, when you look at the modern day NBA player, he epitomizes that. What is he? Remember, we used to say, oh, he's a 5, he's a 3, he's a 2. He's just 6'8" and can hoop, and he can play the point, he can play the 5 spot, he can post up. We moved him around. That makes him hard to guard. So he's used to being able to play fast in transition. He's used to being able to play in traffic. But we would isolate him, and we would post him, and we would run him out, and just let him play with that kind of freedom. And I think in the pros, you got to shoot in 24 seconds. So he might have it, but it also might be coming to him later in the shot clock, and now he's got to go get his own. Well, he can do that too. And he'll get to the free throw line. You look at his shooting numbers, I think it was like 55, 45, 75, or 80, like that. So he is a shot maker, and he's going to shoot it at a high percentage, which is clearly going to make him very valuable.
What do you want him to do better?
Well, he's a natural scorer. So if he rips and drives, he's going to finish. Occasionally maybe get rid of it one step sooner. But as the season went on, I think if you really studied his game, he continued to get better at that because he studied film. There was a play late in the season. Matter of fact, it was in the Michigan game where he, it was a kind of a crunch time play. It was one of those possessions where Michigan was making a little bit of a run. We still had like a 7 or 8 point lead. And we need to come down and score. And he makes a play and kicks it to his brother, his twin brother, who whacks a 3 and basically ended the game. And I said, you know what? That is why he's going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah, he didn't need to do that, Coach. He didn't need to do that. I remember that vividly. He didn't need to do that. That was unnecessary.
You beat up on Juwan Howard all you want to, Coach. That's all right. That's all right. That's good.
Juwan's my guy. He's a good friend, and I got a ton of respect for him. It's funny because they came in here and beat us here, and everybody thought we were going to win that game, and then we went over there, and everybody thought they were going to win, and we won over there. And that's what the Big Ten is. Yeah. And you better be ready to play when you go over there. And pretty much anytime you go on the road in this league.
Real quick, Coach. I just want to get your assessment as somebody that coached against them. Another guy that we're talking about here in Sacramento is Jaden Ivy, and just your assessment as a coach and what was your strategy? What was your thought going into these games against Purdue, trying to contain him and what you would do against him?
Well, I'm a big Jaden Ivy fan. He is one of those guys that has a different gear than everybody else. And so if you don't get your defense back and put together, it's going to be a bucket. So if you're running back and your back is to him and you're chasing a guy to the corner or you're buddy jogging with somebody, he's going to come flying down the court, take that space, and get to the rim and finish. So, you asked, what was our strategy? Our strategy is to get 5 guys back, and he needs to see everybody's face when he's coming down the floor. If he sees your back, you might as well not even be in the building because he's going. He shoots it well enough. I mean, he's not a killer shooter, but he's a good shooter. And when you have speed and explosiveness like he does, and can hit a step back 3 or hit a game winner, which he's done a number of times, he's a guy that I think has a potential, like Keegan, to be an all-star.
Yeah. Well, I knew this would happen. I'm all in on Keegan Murray now. So go ahead, get the jersey. Get the jersey. Coach, we appreciate you carving out some time for us, my man. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, guys.
Hey,
talking with you.
Coach, next year, take it easy on Michigan and beat up on Michigan State and Ohio State.
You got to do that, Coach. That's Fran McCaffery right there, Coach. Iowa basketball. See, this is going to be a terribly long month. I don't think I'm equipped to do this job.